made the heavens, planted the earth, gave us stars for direction. But what was it worth if we don't have love? Oh, your perfect love. You filled the oceans, painted the sky, gave us each other. So tell me why, why we're lacking love. Oh, why we're lacking love. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? Yeah, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? My Lord, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Oh, you can prophesy, speak in the tongues you made, but if you don't have compassion, how will they understand that we were made from love? Oh, we were made from love. Oh, yeah. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? My Lord, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? Oh, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Time to spread more love. Oh, perfect love, supernatural love. Your love.
Good morning. Welcome back to Cuppa Grata with a shot of expression and two squirts of reality. And today I have an awesome co-squirt. She is Nicole Marie Campbell. You know, she's been watching spirituality excuse me, gone wild for years. And we've been chatting here and there, and I've been trying to get her to come on, asking her to come on. But as we all know, everything always happens in the most divine timing. You can't make anything up. It's never by coincidence. And that's just the way life rolls. So today we're going to get into just having fun conversation. Oh, and look at my new thing. Be grateful for you. I put this up here because I wanted to remind everybody today, when I ask you who you're grateful for, the very first person I want you to put into your head is going to be yourself, because self first is not selfish, and you are the most important you can be today. Swear to you. Anyway, we're going to bring up this gorgeous, beautiful young lady. We're going to be looking at intuitive artwork and discussing her journey and anything else that happens to come up. Da-da-da-da. Welcome to the screen. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
My
That was a
intuitive
wonderful introduction.
dynamite.
Yeah. Oh, I got mine. It's this way.
Cuppa Grata. Cheers,
Yeah.
love. Woo.
Raise the
Cheers.
roof.
Boom, pop, raise it, boom, boom. Oh, and I want to say a quick, I almost forgot, a quick, huge thank you to True Osborne for that beautiful song, Supernatural Love, which, oh God, is that not awesome or what?
Beautiful. And I think when he said compassion, I thought, oh, it just bridges everything perfectly together. It's not a superficial love. It's like a long endured love that understands we all are in this together. And at this time, more than necessary for us to discuss that for sure.
I love it. I love it. All right. So one of the things that I love about you is this journey you've been on, this discovery that you've been on. Let's kind of take a step back because everybody, she does some of the most incredible intuitive artwork, but she also is a healer and an intuitive. She's like all of us. She's woo woo to the wow wow, and that's just how it goes. Is that
Hmm.
fair to say?
For sure.
All right, baby.
Um,
So you woke up one morning and boom, all of a sudden, what happened?
well, I always knew, like from a child, that I'm a spirit seer. So I knew that I was experiencing things from a distance and seeing spirit around me while other people were not experiencing it. And I think in the karma of this time, my experience was being outlined a lot by the adults around me, and then a lot by the systematic approach to learning, which I think today's topic was ethical communications. But learning is a journey forever. It's something that goes on forever and ever. And when I had my fall, which was a bad accident, ended up hospital and surgeries and heavy diagnoses and everything of that sort. And I fell really hard into what the doctors wanted for me or what was supposed to work. And what the journey outward for me was Mother Nature and telling it, to take the
Hmm.
high road. I just learned through watching the seasons change again, through not be participating in big things, but just the little things, and what it meant intuitively to paint and draw with some amazing women out in my community. That there was something really inside of me that was coming out on canvas that was greater and godly, and could help other people, was my hope. Yeah.
I'm loving this. And I'm also resonating with your story a lot because I've been in those places. I've been in that hospital. You know what came to me was like when when I experienced that myself and I was in the hospital for 4 weeks in ICU. I remember like 6 months later just being, I love photography. So it's
Mm.
interesting. I love this. We always have all of us have these beautiful connections we get to find out about once we take the time to spend with each other. Just thought I'd mention that. Take some time
Yeah,
with
and
someone
I
today.
and that gift, the gifting. So a lot about the sharing, like, is scary, right? Because you're supernatural. You're thinking paranormally, and other people aren't. So I was creating artwork based on that, and I've done a couple of different series. You can see my native series back here, and something I did for
Is it
another.
possible for you to bring it up to the screen? I really want to see these, you guys. And are they for sale?
Yeah, these ones could be for sale for sure.
All right, let's check this out. Y'all ready for this? Do. I love this.
So I don't know, because some of them I'll bring the smaller ones to my screen, but so stuff like this is this my
Ooh,
version
that's
of what
awesome.
a spiritual Nike might be. I have my spirit friend here, and he's getting through the universe and everything that's coming his way, but he's mighty and powerful, and approaching. I think I'm seeing, and a lot of people do this with my work, is they'll say, "Oh, that looks like," and they can really enjoy it, but like something animated here, and something of a Alice in Wonderland like character. So I don't plan. I just go at the canvas, and then I just keep working it until I feel it's done.
I love that. In fact, thank you, Joe. Joe says that's beautiful. I love
Oh,
that.
thank you. Yeah.
So what I love about creativity, and you can elaborate on this, is that that is our connection to source. That is our source connection.
Yeah.
And that artwork, music, and everything else, that's channeling. So
Yeah.
and this is what is amazing me about the artwork is that it speaks to you. And I love the way that it's speaking. And
Yeah.
tell me what that felt like. And for anybody out there, if you have like this burning need to create,
Mhm.
what did
Oh, you
that feel
can.
like when you first started creating?
Well, I'd also like to say, if they need help, like if getting off the canvas or understanding like the geometry of it or whatever isn't the first step, the first step to me would be just to say that it's a letting go process, and that when we let the mind go and we become intuitive to it. Now I'm gifted, but I would like to share that gift so that they can see the growth in time from the most horrible splash. Like, I got 17 or whatever canvases back here that I would never show anybody. right? But
Okay.
the idea is the creativity comes from the mistakes. It doesn't come from perfection. It grows,
Oh,
yeah, it's a nurturance for sure. It's a definite
well,
nurture.
isn't that true for all of life though? All of
Yeah.
life, all of our growth
Mhm.
all of the life experiences that brought us to these points of perfecting and practice. And there's
Mhm.
so what I'm picking up is that you've got to practice a lot.
I think you have to practice and you have to be heartfelt in the sense that if you're not self-loving, you're self-sabotaging and it comes out in your work. If you're really ready for the therapy of the self, which was my discussion point, the self is like we've been taught to be unloving to ourselves. We've been taught that ourselves are somehow separate from the game. And I think you said at the beginning of your conversation today was we need to bring that fully into perspective. So the real me, bruises and everything, and the whole 9 yards of my experience is acceptable, not just the pieces maybe other people might appreciate too, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving this. So, on our topic board today, we are going to be getting into the discussion of self as well. We have a beautiful image to bring up, and Nicole's going to talk about that a little bit. Please share this out right now if you've just jumped on. Um, we also are going to talk about ethical communication, and I want to tell you all, communication is my thing. Like, I love communication. I study it. In fact, I have a semester and a class left for my degree in communication. Ethical communication is a class that I'm getting ready to take. And the reason I love to study communication is so that I can understand how to hear you, listen to you, and understand you.
Wow.
So I love it, but I'm going to give this all back to you. And I want you to go you have some beautiful things pressing on your soul. Again, everybody share this out. And let's just go
Yeah.
ahead and take a relaxing moment and listen to this because this is a really good message coming forward.
Okay. Um, well, today's talk that I wanted to get into, I was feeling the lesson of subtle awareness. I had a guru moment with one of the gurus that I listened to, and talking about how all of our senses are tuned into seeing everything differently. And because this season is flowered, August is full of flowers, and flowers are my most amazing point to God. Like it's just, I cannot believe these are all so individual, created, every petal, every leaf. And I literally spent a lot of time admiring gardens. So, in that sense of subtle awareness, we can become mindful of our body, and in that, seeing that the delicate awareness of nature and our body are one. So we're not separate actually from nature. Our minds might, have an idea about conquering nature, keeping warm from nature, but our flesh and our breath and our bodies are actually quite like the flower and the nurturance that it needs. And we are connected earth, air, water, fire. We may not live every day with those signs around us that say we are connected, although that would be a really cool future.
Okay, I'm like loving the whole idea of a future. Like instead, giving us directions, that would be super duper.
Like,
You
oh my
know,
God, fire is a part of me, or air in my lungs is quite, amazing. Yeah. Hmm.
Imagine that. Well, I'm going to tell you that I think if you can imagine it, it can be it. So I love that. We'll hold that vision. I love where you're headed with this. This is just, this is so beautiful. And I love the idea of fire being part of me and
Oh, yeah.
water being they all are. Keep going.
Yeah, so the water actually in the Hermetic or Kabbalah studies, fire is here in your mind. So your mind is fire, and you find I find it interesting because I'm Buddhist. So the Buddhist headdresses usually peak like that, like a fire here. And then air is to your lungs, right? We all know oxygen and the power of oxygen in our body. And the water is more in our utility system. Water passes through our utility system, but then connects us and roots us when we do the meditation to Mother Earth or connect our root to her. It's earth at our feet. And so that's why the experience of the human body is so spiritual, is because our eyes get to see. And I think as a seer, I feel called to share that, because it's like having a way to tap into the Almighty yourself. Like, there's no need to have something above and below you for this. It's a complete unified connection between you and the universe.
I'm really loving. I'm loving this, you guys. And if anybody has any questions for Nicole, please type it into the chat. Again, share this out, and also please type in your comments to the chat, and we'll bring them up on screen. Oh, this is so. I love this remembrance.
Yeah.
Remembrance. That beautiful remembrance, and you're sharing these gifts in hope that somebody will remember. And what I love is when we go through something as hard as illness, because I've been through it too. When we come out the other side, was it for me, it was this huge appreciation for life that I'd never had before. It was this deep, deep wanting to capture the beauty and the essence of Mother Gaia, of what's here on this planet, just the beauty and essence of creativity, period. Colors, like your painting, that's colors and stuff like that. Is that kind of what happened for you?
Yeah. So if you want to put up on the screen the emerald tablet pattern to the threshold, I can kind of explain more how it happened. So this is like a really great sort of minimal, for me, understanding of when studying Kabbalah, how in the universe, wait, I'm going to go this way. Oh, wait, no, what way should I go? Should I move myself? No, I'm going to move myself this way. No, I'm not winning. How am I going to move myself to get, right over here. That's why. Okay. Sorry. Am I seeing things backwards now? Oh, here. Hi. I'm over here now. So what I was doing, okay, so I was initiated of the 7th Mystery School of the Earth, headed by the Dalai Lama 20 years ago. And in that initiation, Kabbalah studies were told to be a good thing, but it was 3 to 4 different retreats I did that showed me that there was so much more to the body, that there was a plan called Adam Kadam, and that there was a way of connecting my destiny. I didn't really know then, though. So when I was pursuing Kabbalah, like, they just had us study from the blankest templates to understand. So I would be drawing them, painting them, and using the colors at that time. Then my accident occurred. And then when I went into fully commissioning and understanding my paintings, I just started using that all the time, because the Tree of Life, which I do a series on as well, reveals all of the power of the kingdom of heaven. So the beginning with the Hermetic and the Emerald Tablet by Hermes was 0. All the power that ever was or will be is here and now. So we all know with mindfulness studies that here and now is like one of the hugest, most beautiful spaces you can try to be in. Although it's challenging in the modern Western world, the here and now is a very, really, really good exercise, right? What is happening here and now? And then number 1 goes, I am, so you're not giving any power away in this. I am a center of expression for the primal will to good, which eternally creates and sustains the universe. Like, where do we ever hear that, the whole entire universe is flying around on this wonderful feeling that we're creating good, right? Like, that's just like, I could you not live there for a couple of minutes? I love that.
I'm loving this. Is rad. I'm just like, I'm just like loving this. Let's go on to 3. Go ahead.
Okay, so 2 is through me, it's unfailing, through me. See, we're still in the now, right? And I'm still empowered, and we're feeling empowered by what is energetically being created around us, because it's constant, right? But we're recognizing that wisdom takes form in thought and words. So it goes back to how we're sharing, and wondering to myself for so long, how do I get a throat chakra to actually work if we're not going to communicate? We're in the West. We're not in the Eastern sense. I'm humbled by the Eastern sense. But how do we as Westerners communicate this divinity, which you were speaking to me about 2 years now, 3 years now, since I've been watching your show? So I think it's about interconnectedness. It's about who we're speaking to in our truth. And that, I'm sorry, but I have to say my heart feels good now. It's really, really like, it's a good sense of, wow, this moment. And it's a different beat, right? Like, the way you've held space for so many and the way that it's allowing me, to share this gift. So we can go through it if you want more today, but I think I went on to the power to listen for
Huh?
me. Yeah, because I think you were speaking about it too. And the idea of that non-attachment, again, getting back to my original point, which was subtle awareness, because it's here, like heaven is here. It's here
Yeah,
within your reach. Like it's not, you're going to find it different, dimensions as you walk along past the flower to the this, and sometimes over the addict on the street, but it's still all conscious and it's still all a
yeah,
dimension.
absolutely. So let's dive a little bit into, and I loved that chart. We can come up again. We can read some more from there.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. Thank you. And now to my computer, and I love that even more.
Yeah,
Something. It's tools, girl. Tools,
it is
man.
that.
I
Oh, by the
tell
way,
you.
they're free. There's tons of universal seekers. There's tons of truth seekers. The truth is not far off from hand. It's just what you're tuning in and tapping into and saying, okay, like what's really resonating with me.
I love this. So talk about active listening versus hearing. And
Yeah.
what is ethical communication?
Well, it's opening your creative awareness too, but I think you can't get to opening a creative awareness to be helpful towards one another until that's ready. And I've seen that in my life that sometimes there's these so-called intrusions on getting through the next level in a group setting or in a home setting or a business. And sometimes honoring that. And I've had a hard time at times being like, I can't believe this is fucking happening right now. I know this is not in, and actually realizing that those opposite reactions are making their own time. And when you let it go and you go back to daily practice, which is my class in spiritual backpacking that I wrote, daily practice means that you're going to put that on yourself. So you know your shield, you know what's going on with you around you, and you're practicing your ability to interconnect. And I didn't know personally how, and I still, because people do understand my gift within my community that I work with, but I know that instance that that person may not be there, and that's kind of hard for me at this point because I worked really hard to get to where I'm at now too, right? So I will pick, my time with people sometimes based on that. But sometimes there is sacrifice in a lesson before the creative awareness can even come through. Um, but our higher self wisdom, because we're already here, is always percolating. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
the gratitude thing, as you would say, or just that attention. So, again, attention to the inner world, not being distracted, and then not really being too upset about those negatives. Because if that's where that's at still, it's sort of like I picture it like an orb. I do paintings with orbs a lot. It's like just containing that energy at that time, and then it's going to go do its thing. And is being an awareness too, not the awareness you're seeking. So could be upsetting for you.
So I've heard a few things here. So I've heard you talk about your own personal experiences with people. Sort of, it sounds like alignment and frequency. That's what I chalk it up to. It's like,
Yeah,
dude, yeah, rather than taking it personal, which I'm loving that you're not doing,
yeah,
you're looking at, because I hear what you're saying, like, while I'm making choices on who I'm spending my time with.
Hmm.
Dude, like I got to tell you right now that like struck a chord with me, a
Hmm.
happy chord,
Yeah.
because I get faced with this myself, like, and it's alignment and frequency. And it's like, rather than judging the individuals that maybe or whatever, it's always alignment and frequency. So I love that you brought up that your discernment was preference, you
It is
know?
preference, but I still have this
Yeah.
intrigue about. Okay. Have you ever seen the show from 80s or 90s, Touched by an Angel, or
Yeah, yeah.
okay, so my take on this is as I'm approaching another business to do what is looking like data analysis, because I went to school for that as a sidekick. Really, I'm just looking to add creativity to their business and help them content develop and do these things that will help them sell. I'm a great salesperson.
Yeah.
But I get on the floor with them and their personal beliefs and attitudes about people, society, things. It all starts to within a 6 month span, it just goes, right? And what you want to do, what I want to do is I want to leave them feeling fulfilled. I want to leave them feeling like running their business could be more fun and exciting and open to changes like compassion and healing. And if the fit isn't there with that, then maybe it's just, well, that's what I wonder. What is it going to be? Because I told you about local initiatives. I've been about that for the last 5 years. I'm about people owning their ship, owning themselves
Yeah.
independently. So
Yeah. I love this. And so then you were going into polarity and
uh,
or and
yeah,
in or something that we perceive as negative
yeah.
being, that's our polarity. And I come from the space today that polarity is my friend, because polarity,
Mm,
I can't, without your dark, you wouldn't know your spark. We know that, but
yes.
it's our friend. And but I love that you brought it up, because you know what? We're human. We have we have stuff. And then I love the fact that you're taking all of that and you're using those experiences to then unfold it into business,
Hmm.
into working with other people, and the way that you're handling people who where the alignment and frequency is just kind of, there's
That's what I'm
whatever.
wondering. It's like my own
Yeah, it's
version
like,
of the
y-
touched by the angel. So I'm like
yeah.
literally wondering, like, and so I think I'll stop
Okay, wait, let's
myself.
just let's get into that. Dude, like, have you not seen yourself get in these positions and you're going, what the hell? Now? And you're like, you're not in that world anymore and you just can't figure it out. It is that. It is that. It's because we're leaving heart prints on the planet, for God's sake. Boom. We just solved all the world's problems in 1 second.
Yeah, let's be our heart, mind itself, which goes into as well the later part of the Hermetic and many other spiritual studies, which is just reading my notes here. Stepping up from, now we all know the talk on 3D to 5D is prevalent. Stepping up dimensionally, and I think I mentioned it in the way that I would teach it is always there, and it's on the subtle awareness level when you're tuning into where you're at with that, and then you'll feel yourself actually shift. Your physical body is like my spirit body is shifting constantly, but meeting up with the challenges of my physical body. So shifting from 3 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, 9 dimensions on this planet is definitely here. And I think the astrology from your show that you did for your fourth year,
Mm-hmm.
she spoke about
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
I was like, what? Just stick me up in there. Like, what does that feel like?
It's been, yeah, we are there. Like we are, yeah, it's crazy. I love this.
I loved it.
I love this. Well, subtle self-awareness. Do you have a tool that you can share with others that are hearing the word subtle awareness, that they can use to understand what subtle awareness is?
Well, I think my tool is it's sort of just at the fingertips. Like if you feel yourself in your fingertips, sort of, it's sort of really, really calming, relaxing you into this
Hmm.
space, this time space. It's that. It's also, I think, like realizing that's how close spirit is to us, not being afraid.
Hmm.
It's always right here with you. like having a great heart chakra moment, like this whole interview, like my heart is so full. And knowing that difference when I had the 4 years that it wasn't, like sometimes it could be just the contrast too, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then feeling it. So I'm feeling in the breath, even in a nice big inhale, and being and realizing everything's okay. And it's a wonderful day. I have a friend that's doing these wonderful works, and like I'm thinking of myself right now in 10 years. It's making me, really, really subtly aware. And that's where I wanted to speak about letting our guides in, and releasing any attachment and old karmas and dark thoughts or inner criticism, because
Mhm, mhm.
that's something you really don't want to take on that next plane of existence. It's actually unallowed. So there's work that I know people do around letting go and unconnecting karma or darknesses, and it could be incense burning. It could be, there's other aspects that I've been taught, but um, even moon bathing or sunbathing with the intention of the release. So it's quite intentional too, I think. Um,
I agree with that. Intention is everything, right?
mm,
It's everything. And intention and knowing what it is that your heart desires. And have you ever not known and then you just kind of let it go?
and the heart level, I think like it's a big heart for me there right now. I think like the heart level is sort of unbreakable. And I think some silly human notion that we go through is that it is broken. And because of
I,
circumstance.
I I'm laughing. You know what? I love this because I always say it's broken expectations, not a broken heart, for fiddly
No, it's
sakes.
expectation, totally.
Dude, it's
Yeah,
just because I was attached to that outcome and it did not
it happened.
happen.
And I'm crying like a little
Now
kid
I'm
not getting his toy.
butthurt.
Yeah, yeah.
I know, totally. Yeah, because we really learned how to do that well. Anyway, go.
And then the soul, like obviously in the end, the soul growth that can come from that, but that growing with your community and Mother Earth, um, and filling. So in the third jostle, if you want to put it up again, the third principle is filled with understanding of its perfect law. I am guided moment by moment along the path of liberation. It's not a waiting. It's not coming towards you. It's actually constantly working through you to understand we are meant to be connected and together. And there's really no divide by race, creed, culture, religion. This doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. No, it really doesn't exist. If you've ever had an imagination in your life, if you've ever had a vision of something, ever, that is you outside of your body. So you obviously are not in your body because you're not
Mm,
in your body when you're having the vision. Ah, oh no, shit, I'm not my body.
I love it. And so it's amazing because then if the translation is coming through us, through our awarenesses, subtle energy, changes in diet, changes in job, it just sort of shows like Alice A. Bailey had the 144,000, which were the 144,000 sentient beings brought to Earth in order to, help the vibration. Well, then we should be talking and we should be walking together and building the new Earth. Like, let's just get over the agency of government. Not saying I'm anti-government, but why can't we govern from the place of our hearts and our understanding and broadening our spectrum? Like, I'm so excited that you're actually doing this communication thing because I'm going to learn so much from you, right? And that sort of interaction, and I see it holistically. I see it as becoming natural. And our five
Do you,
senses. So,
mhm.
last
Do you want me
point,
to take this down?
yes.
Okay.
So, my last point, which would be the major point of the day, is our five senses. So, how connected do you think your five senses are? because of your subtle awarenesses, then realizing, wow, I have a sixth sense. I have intuition. I have well, for me, clairvoyance, audience, sight, third eye chakra goes off, and all of a sudden people are like, why doesn't she, my life, why isn't she in the room, picked on and bullied? Well, because I wasn't meant for that life. I was actually, my physical body was getting ready for that life. That's beautiful. And how we dimensionally view ourselves, because the higher self gets to come in. We have to allow it. Our lifetimes of knowledge, our personal secrets, where we feel endlessly connected, where we are full, where we are complete, and we live unseparated from source energy. So there is no fear or anxiety any longer.
Well, fear and anxiety, fear, fear, false
Mm.
evidence appearing real,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. But as
Fear
well,
is,
against our true nature, like sometimes
yeah,
that fight or flight, well, mankind, has run its ship this way for this long, and industrialization came along. So when now government leaders said this, well, come on, like how much longer do we really need these formats of understanding? Or can we enhance them by developing school-like systems where people like ourselves are evolving? Because our indigo children, our crystal children, what are they going to be? They're going to need us, and we certainly need them.
right.
You know,
Absolutely.
the evolving beings of our planet, and I think a lot of times too, it isn't tough because there's me, there's you, there's the next one. It's only tough when I don't want to be in me, when I don't feel the empowerment in me, where like and by the way, don't try to hold back, because you're just inevitably missing out on what's you really want to move forward. And it's really just you, whatever the weather, it's just you.
Whatever the weather is, still you,
Yeah.
right? And I love, you know, God, that's just like so. I love that. Um, so yeah, so curious, what are your references on this? On this, Donna, what's this, sweetheart? Are you referring to the?
Image,
Yeah, possibly. Go
or
ahead.
my image behind me, or do we want to see another painting, or
I'm actually loving the one that's behind you. My eyes keep going to it because it's got so much to it. There's sacred geometry in there, which is really fascinating.
yeah, it's the Tao symbol too. Yeah. Yeah, this
Oh,
one.
wow. I didn't even see the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, I'll move those two for you.
Wow. That's absolutely gorgeous. I love that.
And I used paint that has hematite in it. So
Oh,
some of
how
the
cool.
darker areas, it's hematite, the mineral.
Hmm.
Yeah, I like minerals, and sometimes I'll use volcanic ash, stones, different
Ooh.
stones. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So you're putting the elements into the painting.
yeah.
That's so cool. Those are beautiful. So she's saying the Jerusalem crown.
The Jerusalem crown. Oh, maybe it was just in the document that we ended up using for the
Oh, okay.
hermetic. Maybe
Yeah,
if you bring it back up, she'll ask. I think I know what she's speaking about, but if you just bring it up for a second.
sure. Let me do that.
Thank you. Crown as in Cather. Is that what she's meaning? Divine self?
I'm not sure, but apparently we're supposed to bring this back up. So,
Well, I just want to outline
okay,
to you the tarot you'll see through all the pathways are the interconnected lessons between those pathways, which are all connected to the planets. And so all of them have a lesson, like a life lesson attached to it, and then a positive and negative response or pull. Um, But this one doesn't have the hidden sphere off is not in this document. But it was mainly a beautiful document I used just to get the trestle board going because I loved using that to kind of guide us in
Well, I think it's I
conversation.
think I think it's beautiful, and I think that Donna, I appreciate your questions. But I think the answer is simply the the reference here's what I'll reference. Is it serving your best and highest good to observe and soak it in? And what parts of it can you reference for your best and highest good?
Mm.
I love questions though. So thank you. I love that. And Donna, thank you for hanging out with us today. And she says, okay, thanks too.
Thanks, Donna.
So you rock. Now
I
look,
was so
guys,
happy. I really am happy to have done this. This is like, wow.
we're having a blast. And here's what I know. Like we have a few more minutes and I have my cards and I'm just like
Do
happy
it.
to
Do
look,
it.
guys, look, they are the priestess of light.
Mm,
They're the priestess of light. So something came up for me. It was yesterday or the day before. You ready for this?
mm.
Okay, I'm going to throw this at you. This is the first time I'm saying it publicly, and then I'll draw a card. Put your so think about what you want to know about today, collective, because we're going to find out. So this is what hit me, Nicole. I'm in my room and I'm doing my humana. Okay, got
Yeah.
my stones, got my thing, doing my whatever. Okay. And I get this waiting for an engraved invitation. An
Oh,
engraved invitation. You know,
wow.
so
Mm,
often I've heard myself saying, I feel it coming. I feel it coming. Today is the day. Like you feel it coming. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. And you're just like that engraved invitation. It's going to
that's full
show up
space
in
for
the
engraved. Wow.
Well, it's going to be in the mail. It's going to be, but here's the thing with inspired action, inspired
Mm,
action, rather than waiting for an engraved invitation,
mm,
inspired action. But
mm.
what really hit me was that our birth was our engraved invitation into the
Oh,
planet
wow.
to that we have nothing to keep that nothing is coming, nothing is waiting. We are aligning with what has already been created for our best and highest good, for our service to the planet.
Oh,
The waiting for this, the waiting for that, the waiting for the engraved invitation is
waiting.
also waiting for your life to start. And here's how I shift, and here's how I personally shift. And I'd love to know what you do to shift. I love subtle awareness because you do have a subtle awareness that you know you need to do this differently because what you're doing is not working. Get honest with yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, straight up, love yourself enough to quit bullshitting yourself.
Mm,
Oh, then seriously do one small thing differently. One. I don't give a shit what it is. Do one. Maybe it's going to putting your feet in the grass for 5 minutes
mm,
while you feel
mm.
the sun coming through you as it charges the battery of your cellular
Oh,
structure physically.
amen.
But do something. Breath. Personally, I say always go with breath because if you can just take a breath in and just release, but do one small thing every day to shift your energy, to start shifting where you are. And my last one is appreciation,
Mm,
radical appreciation, radical gratitude, and compassion for yourself. And that's what I say, instead of waiting, start doing and make tiny little baby steps.
mm.
Because look, I was talking about yesterday the same shit I was talking about last year. I don't even believe that right now. I was last year saying, oh, you know what? Okay, so if I start now, by January, I'll be here. And I went,
No.
no inspired action means Guess what? I'm still having the same conversation I was a year ago. I'm being honest.
Yeah.
So don't wait for the engraved invitation. You are the engraved invitation.
Oh, wow.
Period. So that's what I have to say about that. What's your take on that?
I saw an engravement in the sense of legacy. And that now that you put your tune to it, I'm seeing that it would be a continual thing. That you're right though. Astrology teaches as soon as the soul comes in and boing, that point of birth is created, there's a whole universe of possibility. I think it's changing the linguistics. I think that's an engravement. I think it's sharing. I think it's in allowing and developing concepts that will help one another in honesty and with integrity. But if I don't
Yeah.
want to show up to that because I don't feel worthy, well, it's going to be hard to fit that into your day, right? Like I'm saying,
Yeah.
this whole thing is going to become
Yep.
something even bigger. Because I had to hold my breath for 4 years while I waited to have it as all my own thing, right? And that's what really did it. It kind of ground out or engraved all the way out, right? And as
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
all the way out. And so even my friend
Yeah.
said to me 2 days ago, she's like, even in your body language, you're a little bit more subtle. I'm like, it's a CBD oil. I'm joking, but the CBD oil lately has been really good. Like really good. But yeah, so
Yeah, it works well.
it works well to help alleviate muscular issues.
Big,
But
big.
no
I
medication. No,
yeah. Yeah.
no, no. I see my therapist, but no medications. No, I am not angry anymore at the system. I'm not feeling infiltrated. I will get stern and I will get upfront and I'll let them know my opinion. Thanks for wasting my time. But realistically, I had to go through it. So better to be the hero and say I did it and maybe make a pathway for someone else to come down the line than to agonize over the defeat of something that's already done. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Well, yeah, no, I believe that everything's for a divine purpose in one way or another. So I don't, yeah, I love there is actually no failure. There is,
No,
I don't even believe it. I don't even believe in try. It's either you do or you don't.
you don't.
You know,
Yeah.
you either do or you don't. I mean, you get some shit going on and somebody, did you fail? No.
Hmm.
You did the best. I'm going to guess that all the times in my life I perceive as failure were the times in my life where I was just needing to go back into my cocoon.
Yeah, and I think it's that's a beautiful space too. But another interesting thing that I heard about the dark space, which is interesting, was
Uh-huh.
that in all that was created, I have actual Kabbalah references to this too, but in all that was created through the light and the dark, we actually didn't create it. We are part of that creation. So, us even thinking that we need to own it is super silly. The dark was created, right? Like, I'm not owning the creator's creation. I'm part of the creator's creation. Let the creator deal with the darkness. I know how to deal it in and out of human reality, but it was created. And we
I
have
love it. And
light, we have dark. That's okay.
I'm getting and they go flying out as I'm sitting here because you know how that happens. And it's duality.
Duality. Yeah.
Duality. And then right after is River of Blessings.
Oh, amen. Releasing
Releasing
control.
constraints. Go
Oh.
ahead. Ah,
Yeah, because the Aztec, oh, that feeling. Those lineages, those beings, those higher dimensional frequencies that are coexisting with us, that we're not in the platform unless we allow ourselves. Like they're not in our everyday life. But sometimes even my mind wants to visit these places because I'm just like, that's so beautiful. And then I get stuck. And I'm like, oh, what's wrong with her? I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me. I can just go there. Like, leave me alone.
I'm loving this. Okay, look, check it out, y'all. So we're talking about duality. The whole world is facing massive duality right now.
Yes.
And it comes
So,
up
yeah.
to for us to and it says it's releasing constraints.
Mm-hmm.
So all the duality we have is our river of blessings. And get this, okay? So here's
Mm.
the other ones that flew. So how do you get that? Get this. I have sacred gratitude,
Nice. Love
reverent
it.
appreciation, and meditation.
Oh, I love it.
Grateful optimism. I love I'm just loving the whole fact that these were look at this. Joyous views
Beautiful.
of the future. And the very last one that flew out was the garden. Idyllic times and paradise.
Mm, my favorite.
So as we are going through the duality so that we can and it's a that duality, once you start seeing it as your river of blessing
Mm,
and get into fervent thankfulness and gratefulness for
mm,
appreciation for everything,
mm-hmm.
it starts to shift. That grateful optimism comes in, that optimism that lifts you up, that looks at you, go, oh my God, that's possible. That's possible. Instead of, I don't know how the hell that's possible. I can't do that.
Aw.
It's possible. It's possible. And why? So that you can step into that garden that you are creating and that idyllic life that you want.
Mm,
We are not just headed for that, we are that. And if each of us create that in our own life right now, make some choices today, some small different changes and choices, we can achieve world unity. But
mm.
you cannot achieve world unity if you're looking out at the world. We can only achieve world unity if
By
we're looking
being in.
within. Yeah, and then showing up and being of service and holding space. But
Mm-hmm.
the change begins right here with you. And when you ask your, I asked you at the beginning of the show, everybody, who are you grateful for? So who are you grateful for? And that's a big question. Remember, be grateful for you because that's the most important thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
But who else are you grateful for today?
On the planet, or
Doesn't matter.
I'm very picky about my sources and my mediumship, and I don't settle easily. But I had a voice come in when I was getting ready that I was like, wow, I settle with that. That was pretty cool. That transmission you'll be sure to hear about, obviously. I think my mom, I think
I love
moms are
that.
very, very special.
Oh,
And
I love that.
yeah, my mom, I'd say my mom, I couldn't understand in our communications were few and far why. And I have like a upset nature over that sometimes, but it made me so open to talking to people because I needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now that I can do it with other women and other people and share in that, sort of is sad that I didn't get it with her, but she also fueled me with so many experiences that showed me the planet too, right? Without saying anything. So, yeah.
Absolutely. We choose our parents. They don't choose us.
Yeah, we need them to show us
Yeah.
yeah, the sort of discipline it's going to take for the planet. It's going to be such discipline. And I'm so tired of even having to be complaintive in my mind about it because it seems like a big
Yeah.
project. Like it's not. We'll get through it. It'll be fine.
Actually, we totally and actuality, I feel that and I haven't croaked yet, but I'll let y'all know when I do. I'll come back and taunt you. Just saying, I'll bug the shit out of all of y'all. Just trust me. If anybody's gonna come back and from the spirit and just like, hey, it would be me. So just be warned when I leave this planet, what I'm going to be doing to every one of you.
Oh,
So
it's too
yeah,
funny.
I completely forgot what I was going to say. I totally forgot what I was going to even say. I have no idea, but that's okay because we're coming to the end, and I want to bring up this right here. First, I want to bring up this one. Wait, I'm writing that down. Love yourself enough to quit bullshitting yourself.
Yeah, I loved it.
Like for real, right? Okay, I'm grateful that I asked Archangel Michael to move in with me. Grateful. that I know he protects me from evil people coming and going in and out of my life. Beautiful, honey. I
Mm-hmm.
love that.
I like that one
I
too.
love I we love the angelic realm and the angelic energy. We
Mm.
love all of it. Whatever you guys need to do, remember, take a small step today. Small step for mankind, literally.
Debbie, I want to ask you from my
Yeah,
heart that if we can do this even weekly, I would make time and space. And if that's a possibility, maybe we can
sure, we
talk
can
about
talk.
that.
Yeah, we can talk about that after we are all done. I want to mention that Josie Herndon will be on Thursday with Drama to
Oh,
Dharma.
yeah,
We
drama
love
karma. Yay.
Drama to Dharma. It is such a cool show. And Recovery View will be in September. And I have a very special announcement, and you will see on Saturday, you will see the event up. But we are calling all psychics and mediums for Psychic's Choice, one of our partners with Spirituality Gone Wild. And we are going to audition 50. I think we maxed it at 50, and we're picking 10.
Wow.
10. So it's going to be a super thing. Pay, the psychic's choice is literally different than any other psychic platform I've seen. Period.
Mhm.
It's really actually very cool. And for $9.99 a month, you get one question a day from
Wow.
a live psychic, which is way cool. So it's
That is
very awesome.
that is cool.
Yeah, but it's just a really, I'm going to put the advertising out. And so if you are a psychic or medium and you've got some experience, our vetting process will be auditions.
Hmm.
America's best
Top
psychic. I don't,
kind of video.
top
I can't wait
psychic.
to see
Yeah,
it.
what is it? The X Factor of psychics.
Do they get to like do the jungle gym thing? I thought that would be a good idea. I'm just joking.
I think that would be kind of fun. I mean, we're going to do something to liven up this Zoom. I have no idea what it might be. Probably, but all right. Thank you so much, Nicole, for being here today. I am going to go ahead and sign off. Everybody, please like and follow Spirituality Gone Wild and make sure you check out Joan of Angels. Yesterday, she had a show on that was all about whether or not that you are a walk-in. You got to check that out. And then
Oh,
it was totally awesome. And then, of course, don't miss 420 Spiritual Living at 420. 420 meaning cannabis.
yeah.
Healing with healing
Let's
with
do some
weed,
of that too.
man. Because boom, healing with weed. That's what we love. I am so
Yeah.
Californian. Love y'all. Peace. So you got to see the plants I have outside. They're bitching.